must have sent it. Okay, once upon a time there was a tiger that appeared out of nowhere. Suddenly there was a real anxiety. This tiger suddenly started to get very violent. The next day the police arrived onto the scene, and this tiger would have to be put down. The violence that this tiger was using, it was nothing short of embarrassing. The next day the person who worked in the rainforest in Sydney, they would hold a press conference, they would give their version of events. The next day the person who worked in the rainforest, Adam Smith, who was an Australian citizen, he would appear in court in the city centre of Sydney. Adam Smith, who was from the Melbourne area, he would give his version of events. The court heard that he lost control of the tiger and he would go to prison for his involvement in the tiger. The next day Adam Smith went on the run. He would try and appeal the decision, as he feels that he had no involvement in the tiger and it wasn't his responsibility. Later that evening, Adam Smith, he would have his tea at home, and then he would watch MasterChef on the TV before he would help his daughter with her homework. And then he'd watch MasterChef on the TV before he would help his daughter with her homework that she had to get done, that she had been set from school. The next day the police would try and get their suspect, but Adam Smith, he would drive his daughter to school and then he would drop his daughter off before he would go to the rainforest. Later that afternoon the police had their suspect, but Adam Smith, he went on the run. He would fly to Indonesia, leaving his daughter in Australia. His partner would pick his daughter up from school and then they would go back to the house. The next day Adam Smith, he would book into his accommodation and then he would go swimming in the sea. Later that afternoon Adam Smith, he would watch television and would make some food before he would check out the scenery, and he would go on a walk in the city centre of Indonesia, and he would go out for food. However, in a twist, he knew that the police were on the lookout for him, so he headed towards Los Angeles. But what he didn't know is what would happen next. There was a police presence, so he would try and get past the police, but the police, they had their suspect, and the suspect would have to fly back to Sydney. But in a twist, he got past the police and boarded the plane to go to Los Angeles. The next day he would get on the plane, but he would be refused onto the plane. He would be refused onto the plane, and he would get back on the plane and he would head towards Los Angeles. The next day he would in fact be on a plane heading towards Sydney. It looked like he was heading towards Los Angeles, but he got on the plane to go back to Sydney. He would be deported and he would go back to Sydney where he would serve his prison sentence. The next day the passengers on the plane, they would try to reflect on what happened. They couldn't believe that this individual would try and get on the plane, and they were relieved that Adam Smith was put behind bars and that he didn't have to bother anyone ever again. Later that evening, the couple, they would go to a nice restaurant. They would go to a restaurant in the Sydney City Centre. The next day, the couple, who were named as Dale O'Connor and Shelby Scott, they would go shopping and they would buy some really nice clothes for their families. Later that afternoon, they would go home and they would have their lunch. Later that evening, they would settle down for the night. What wasn't known is what would happen next. Shelby Scott, she was pregnant. She would be rushed to the hospital. What wasn't known is if they were having a baby or boy or baby girl. The next day, Dale O'Connor, he would go for a job interview at a bar in Sydney. According to Johnson, she would need to have a think about it. She was unsure how it would fit in Dale O'Connor's schedule. Later that afternoon, Dale Scott went to Burger King. He would have a cheeseburger with fries. Later that evening, Dale O'Connor went to the hospital to see how Shelby Scott was doing. Shelby Scott was expecting the baby to come out anytime soon. The next day, Dale O'Connor heard back from Cunt Johnson. She would offer him the job, and Dale O'Connor would accept the job. Later that afternoon, he would go to Starbucks, and he would have a coffee before he would get the household sorted ready for the baby's arrival. Later that evening, Dale O'Connor, he would go out for a drink with his friends. However, what wasn't known is that they were all being followed. Dale O'Connor would phone the police, and these individuals who were following them to the bar. They would go into police custody. What wasn't known is who these individuals were, but it was believed that they were from the California area in USA. These individuals who were named as Danny Richards, Todd Phillips, Kevin Scott and Joe Long. However, in a twist, Danny O. Richards, Todd Phillips, Kevin Scott and Joe Long, the violence that they used towards Dale O'Connor, it would be nothing short but despicable. Later that evening, these individuals, they would be deported back to California and they would serve their prison. They would serve their prison sentence. The next day, Dale O'Connor would go to hospital, and the baby came out. What wasn't known is what they would call the baby, but they had a baby girl. The next day, Dale O'Connor, he would start his first shift at the bar, while Shelby Scott, she would stay at home and look after the baby while Dale O'Connor was at work. Later that evening, Dale O'Connor came home from work, and the couple, they would watch television before they would settle down for the night, and they would have their tea while they were watching the television. The next day, the couple, they would go to the beach and they would go swimming in the sea before they would have before they would have an ice cream. And then they would come home and then they would play some board games before they would settle down and go to bed. The end, Sam Jenkinson.